Hey guys, I think this is video 65. I have a question for you. Um, so this is like admitting my craziness, but it's okay because this is real. All right, so yesterday I was at the gym thinking I looked okay because my daughter the other day had said, "Yeah, you look good, Mom." I was wearing my exercise pants. She's like, "Oh, you look good." I'm walking around like I look good, and I catch this image in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, it was kind of like the cucumber picture, like, holy crap. And I looked like a house, like a house. My face was fat, my hair was fat, everything was fat. And I left the gym like, oh my God, I am just kidding myself, right? So I kind of forgot about it when I got home. And then today, the same thing happened. And I was like, it's true. And then I was like, okay, so I checked out a different mirror and I was like, oh, I'm not so bad here. Maybe I'm not so bad. So it's like this argument of like, it's like two extremes. It's not like a little fat, it's like humongous, disgusting beast. Or looking pretty good. Now, it's the same person, it's the same body, and I don't know. It's so easy to go to take it into the land of suck, like boom. But I can come back if I find another mirror that doesn't look as bad. So I was just wondering if anyone else did that, because I know that I'm like my Weight Watchers guy Zach says, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're effing nuts. So I know I'm nuts. I'm just admitting it. So that's one thing. And I have the same thing with wrinkles. Like, okay, this side is completely wrinkled and then this side looks fine. So which is it? Same face. I'm either old, decrepit, wrinkled, like, what's a bad word? Scary alien, or fine, look at this smooth skin. So, like, who knows? So, and it's like, and why does it matter? Why does it matter? And I'll get to that in a minute. So, that was the first thing, just asking if you guys have that. You know, different mirrors, different looks. Anyway, and another thing that my Weight Watchers guy had said, like, when I was telling him about the picture, was like, do you think that the models aren't airbrushed? Do you think that they just lie out there in their bathing suit and they look perfectly wonderful? He's like, no, they take thousands of pictures, thousands and thousands. So I was like, okay, that made me feel a little better. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is I was listening to, let's see, Brene Brown. She was on Tim Ferriss. I think it was an old recording, but she was talking about comfort versus courage. And when she did her first TED Talk, she was like throwing up, and I don't know if she was throwing up, but she felt nauseous, and she said that she would never do that again. It was so horrible. Well, that has like 36 million followers. It's the most popular TED Talk ever. Obviously, she's gone on. So she said comfort versus courage. So that made me feel better about the discomfort from my book and about doing these. That gave me more courage. So thank you, Brene. The other thing was, let's see, Marianne Williamson. I've really been just reading the introduction because it's so good. And what I realized yesterday was it made me feel like I wasn't the only negative cray cray, we'll call it. There's a really good emoji that's cray cray with her eyes like. Anyway, so it made me feel like I'm not the only one. So what she says, I won't read the whole thing, but when we were born, we were programmed, or I'll put it here. When we were born, we were programmed perfectly. We had a natural tendency to focus on love. Our imaginations were creative and flourishing, and we knew how to use them. We were connected to a world much richer than the one we connect to now, a world full of enchantment and a sense of the miraculous. So what happened? Anyway, it goes on to say we were taught to focus elsewhere. We were taught to think unnaturally. We were taught to think thoughts like competition, struggle, sickness, finite resources, limitation, guilt, bad, death, scarcity, and loss. We began to think these things, and so we began to know them. It's as though as soon as we got here, we were given a sleeping pill. Love is what we were born with. Fear is what we have learned here. The spiritual journey is the relinquishment or unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. So I'm like, I love this. I'm only on the introduction. I love this. It makes me feel like I'm not the only crazy. I'm not the only negative one. that there's someone else, at least one other person who had thought this way once. So that made me feel very good. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you was that with my mother, I was really having a difficult time being nice and patient. And what I realized yesterday was she can't help it. This is my interpretation. I don't know if it's true. That the reason why she asks so many questions is because she's scared. And the only thing she can hold on is to keep asking questions to try to understand. And she gets like worried, and she was never a worrier. She was the one that told me worrying is a waste of time, and now she's like worried, and she thinks, like my daughter went to New York, she thought she had to help her stay safe, and so she was worried and obsessing, and I just like distracted her, and so I opened a puzzle at her house, and she was doing the puzzle with me, and it was really nice. It was really nice. And I treated her like a child, but it worked. And I wasn't mad. So that was good. And the other thing was we watched this documentary on Princess Diana last night. That was, like, Princess Diana was she was the voice, a lot of it. Talking about her bulimia. She had it before she even got married. And, oh, God. It just, so you don't know. Was she just a victim? Like, how much of it was her, how much of it was him? It was probably both, but she looked like she had the fairy tale, and she was not happy. So that was eye-opening. And I think that's it. I did think of something else, and it's gone. Oh, my website is up. GettingRealWithHillary.com. My daughter got it up. It finally, that sounded perverted. It finally, the domain came yesterday, and we hooked it up. And every time I tried to do something, I would screw it up. And she was like, "Don't touch it. Let me do it." I don't know why I'm such a spaz, but I am. But it's up. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And yesterday, I know I keep saying I'm going to be done, but this is just what I do. So yesterday, she was, I was talking to her, and she's like, "I can't listen." And I was like, whoa. I was like, "Do you know that sometimes you get bitchy?" And she goes, "Well, so do you." So I said, "Well, when do I get bitchy?" And she goes, "When you're disappointed." And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So she was all messed up in the head about a couple things that had happened, and I said, "Okay, your turn to talk." And I just let her talk. I actually wrote notes, and it was kind of hysterical because her notes were just like me when I was in my phone. Wait, I'll just get them here. And it was like, she didn't matter. She's a failure. And she's going nowhere. She's delusional. But part of it was like, I might as well die. Like, hers was different. Oh, hers was, she might as well do heroin. I was like, oh, mine was just like, I should just die. But hers was heroin. I was like, okay, don't do that. But anyway, she just got to talk. Let's see, how did we get to the end? I'm looking at my notes here. And then it was like, okay, what are you doing when you're having fun? Like, when do you matter? Because her whole thing was she didn't matter. And when she's singing and dancing, she matters, or she has fun. So it was just so interesting to just be able to listen to her. And this is my thing, that sharing creates freedom. By the end of her just getting it out. I didn't say a word except laugh because some of it was similar, which probably wasn't very nice. But anyway, by the end, she was like, okay, being in front of people, singing and dancing, and she needed 20 to 30 people, and then she was like completely on fire. So it was just very interesting, and that's not even what she's doing, but it just freed her, and it was awesome. So that's the direction I want to go, however that looks. I don't know. Oh, another thing. Sorry, it's almost 10 minutes. This girl that at the gym that I had told her about my book, I said, "Oh, did you get it?" She goes, "No, but I'm thinking I'll tell my book club to get it, and then we can have you sign the books. Like, we'll have autographed copies, and it'll be our book club book." And I was like, wow, what a great idea. So I'm writing that down, and I'm going to figure out if anyone knows how to get a book into book clubs. That could be a really cool thing, especially for women. So anyway, thank you. GettingRealWithHillary.com if you want to check it out. It's a little, it's there. It's not like robust, but it's there. And then the blog, as usual, creatinglifeouthere.com. The book, what is it? The Second Piece of French Toast on Amazon, and YouTube. Obviously, this is YouTube. So, okay. Thank you so much. Share. Please share with your friends if you like it. If you don't, don't. Bye.